great fan, as many are, of that wonderful 1942 movie Casablanca, Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart. And one of the classic scenes in a classic movie is where the French chief of police, Monsieur Renault, is ordered to shut down Rick's cafe. And Rick says to Monsieur Renault, "Why? On what grounds are you closing my cafe?" And Monsieur Renault says, "I'm shocked. Shocked to discover that there's gambling going on in here." At which point the croupier comes over and says, "Here are your winnings, Monsieur Renault." Now, I can imagine that this is sort of what's happened with the Australian Labor Party. When the media has exposed what we all knew, was that there's thuggery and bullying in the CFMEU. I'm shocked to discover that there's bullying, thuggery in the CFMEU. We could never have known that was going on. So, we better do something about it. So to their credit, they did put forward a bill that has been significantly improved by the coalition. But then when we tried to discuss this issue in question time, a perfectly reasonable question was asked of the Housing Minister about whether the CFMEU's behaviour, the bullying, the thuggery and all of the associated stuff has pushed the costs of construction up. Very reasonable question. Now, the minister said some experts believe CFMEU corruption and illegality has no impact on residential construction. So there's this back and forth for the next couple of days about, well, which experts? Tell us the experts. Tell us who made the quote. We'll look up the research. We'll interrogate it. But there was no furnishing of the experts. There was no furnishing of where this information comes from. Now, if you get up as a minister in this place and you say some experts and make a claim, you should be able to come back in and answer a question backing it up. I think that's standard. Now the ALP, which was elected with the support of the CFMEU, has now, because they were so shocked, put forward a piece of legislation to put the CFMEU into administration. And I do give them credit for that. The bill has been significantly improved by the coalition, and there's a number of amendments that Senator Cash has been able to get Senator Watt to agree to, which improves the piece of legislation. But if the government's really serious about ending this thuggery and bullying in the CFMEU that are obviously pushing up the costs of construction, I mean, if you make it harder for business to do business, the costs go up. Blind Freddie sees that. And what the government could do is support the Leader of the Opposition's bills that were put to the House. One which would restore the Australian Building and Construction Commission, which the Albanese government scrapped in one of its first actions after the election, and a separate bill which will enhance integrity measures and combat criminality on our nation's building sites. I think that's really important. Really important. Now, as I said earlier, I give the government and the ALP a little bit of credit for at least being shocked and putting forward some legislation which is now going to be improved. But when Monsieur Renault and the ALP were sort of fake shocked, I was genuinely shocked earlier today when I saw the Greens defending the indefensible. I am shocked. I'm a naive first-termer. I was shocked that the Greens would come in here and say, there's nothing to see here, the CFMEU are fine, there's no bullying, there's no thuggery, and it looks like they're going to oppose the bill. We'll wait and see when the vote happens, but it just shows you where the Greens' priorities are. They're not interested. They're interested in talking about housing, but they're not interested in doing anything that would reduce the costs of construction, which flows on into the residential sector. Of course, the CFMEU's actions have increased the costs of construction, and of course that has led to increased costs in residential housing. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Authorised by S. Birrell, National Party of Australia, 426 Wyndham Street, Shepparton.